this is the funniest fucking thing that I've seen or heard since the accusations that were recently made against me that I steal other people's content, that I steal other people's ideas, that I steal podcasters' content that specifically upload to Sunday, but I upload my stuff on Friday and Saturday, and then if I were to steal anything, it would usually be a week too late because my podcast is already uploaded. And the news that I would be stealing would be irrelevant and a week late, and nobody wants late fucking news. Man, that's the funniest thing I heard all night. This topic that I'm going to talk about right now is even fucking funnier, man. But to those people, irrelevant, then, now, and forever. What else is new? Man, WWE just released a superstar. Literally, I recorded off the script for Friday. I seen this on Friday morning, and I'm looking at it right now on their website. WWE superstars to watch in 2019. Photos and then a little excerpt about who they are and why we should be able to see their growth in 2019. The first superstar here, I agree with. I'm a big fan of this certain superstar, Mustafa Ali. He's gonna be doing big things in 2019, man. I think this is a great choice. They say here on WWE.com, the first superstar to jump from 205 Live to Smackdown Live. Hopefully he is not the last. I could see Cedric Alexander, Buddy Murphy, and guys like that making the jump. Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander are way too good to be stuck on 205 Live. Mustafa Ali has placed himself right in the thick of the WWE title picture, pinning Daniel Bryan within weeks of joining Team Blue. By the way, whoever writes these things is completely cringe. They go on to say, the sky's the limit for this young superstar, but given his high-flying abilities, he's unlikely to stop there. I think we can all sit here in agreement and say Mustafa Ali is definitely someone to watch in 2019. I am very excited to see his growth on SmackDown Live. Do I trust them to do anything good with him? No. But I hope that they realize the talent that they have in Mustafa Ali. They mentioned Toni Storm. Toni Storm. They say here, and I quote, steady improvement has been the story of Toni Storm, who rebounded from prior disappointments to win the 2018 Mae Young Classic and the NXT UK Women's Championship. Can the Lightning Down Under improve upon a climb like that? She's certainly up for the task. The only question is if anyone else can rise to her hard-earned level. Man, whoever writes these things is fucking cringe. I gotta say it again. Can the Lightning Down Under improve upon a climb like that? Can we talk in a normal human fucking tone, please? Like, who speaks like that? Anyway, regardless of how cringe the description is of Toni Storm, Toni Storm is definitely someone who I am excited to see the growth of in 2019. She just beat Rhea Ripley for the NXT UK Women's Championship. Now, a lot of people were even chiming in that Rhea Ripley's reign was too short. You know, realistically, it wasn't too short. Maybe by what we've seen on TV. I believe she won that title in late August or early September, and we didn't see it until the tapings got caught up to speed on the WWE Network. Now, I don't know what the original outcome of Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley was, but I know it was reported she was hurt in that inaugural finals for the UK Championship. Now, Toni Storm just won the Mae Young Classic. Giving her another tournament win may have been overkill if you really think about it. So maybe WWE thought that, well, if Toni won the Mae Young Classic, we'll just go with Rhea Ripley. And then, you know, if it comes down to it in a match again for the Women's Championship between the two, that's when we'll give Toni Storm the UK Championship. But I think that they did a very good thing. Rhea Ripley got a taste of it. You know, we got to see her act as champion and kind of hone in on her heel gimmick which is great. I love Rhea Ripley. But Toni Storm, honestly, is a great ambassador, not only for the UK women's division, but she's going to be a great ambassador for the women's division in general, man. She is going to be someone that you can absolutely 100% build around in a division, man. I think she's fucking fantastic. I love her look. I love her just overall everything about her, man. She sells great. She's great in the ring. She's got a passion that really you don't see a lot in professional wrestling. She's physical. She's intense. She brings that style of women's wrestling that I really like. So she's got big things coming to her in 2019, man. I can't wait to see the growth of Toni Storm. They named Matt Riddle here. Matt Riddle obviously is someone who a lot of people say that if you put on Monday Night Raw, the guy has got star written all over him. They say here to describe Matt Riddle as if Jeff Spicoli could do arm bars doesn't quite sum up his unique aura or the connection he shares with the WWE NXT universe. The King of Bros was as unlikely a candidate as anyone for WWE stardom at one point. Now that he's here, the only question is who he proves wrong next. So they kind of mentioned Matt Riddle's past here. An unlikely candidate as anyone for WWE superstardom at one point. WWE did look at him, but WWE didn't sign him because of his drug-related issues. He's a big pothead. He likes to smoke. He likes that extracurricular activity. But, in light of the competition now, and being that Matt Riddle can certainly be a game changer for any brand, WWE was a little bit more lenient this time around. I wonder why they were now forgiving of Matt Riddle's extracurricular activities. Now it doesn't bother them, but then it did. Now it doesn't. I wonder why. AEW. Excuse me, man. I did not smoke before I hit record. I would let you guys know beforehand. But, yeah, that's the reason. Matt Riddle. Now we get into the good stuff here. They mentioned the Revival. Really now? You mentioned the Revival as top superstars to watch in 2019. Really? This is what they say about our friends Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. The first ever two-time NXT Tag Team Champions. Raw career has been marred by injuries and a series of start and stop runs at the Raw Tag Team Championship. Man, is that a fucking understatement. But now Dash and Dawson are healthy, they're motivated, and they're in the title picture. 2019 could be the year the self-dubbed top guys finally make the old school new again. Man, is WWE fucking desperate, man. Holy shit. This comes in the same fucking week in which the Revival went into Monday Night Raw, had another match against the Lucha House Party, which makes it probably 6 out of the last 8 weeks. They got fed up to a point that they were still in their ring gear, and they asked to be released from their WWE contracts. Now people are reporting that this puts the Revival in great position, right? They could get a raise. They are not going to be granted their release. They could be given the Raw Tag Team Championships, as if that means anything to anybody on this fucking show. They could be sent down to NXT to make them happy so they don't have to leave the company and go to AEW and go fight the Young Bucks in a 5-star classic. How many times did I tell you that everything that WWE is doing is out of desperation to A, keep talent happy, and out of desperation so they don't go to AEW. The Revival is so unhappy that WWE now is on their hands and knees begging for the Revival cock. That's what they're doing. They are buttering these guys up like a fucking English muffin. Are you fucking kidding me? The Revival, superstars to watch in 2019. Were they superstars to watch in 2018 when you fucking wasted them the entire year? Now they're all of a sudden superstars to watch. Why are we watching them? Because they asked for their fucking release? They don't want to be in the WWE anymore. Now all of a sudden they're superstars to watch. hilarious. This proves my entire point from part one, and this is why I'm starting the podcast off on Saturday with this fucking nonsensical garbage that WWE is feeding to the brainless fucking drones who watch and review everything WWE on their website. Garbage. Absolute garbage. They name Asuka. They say Asuka ended 2018 with the prize she had set her sights on almost a year before. Yeah, because we had to give Charlotte the undefeated streak. Everything that is epic in nature or anything to pad Charlotte's resume goes right to Charlotte. So that's why they did that. So after that, she never recovered. SmackDown's Women's Championship, hardened by struggle. The Empress of Tomorrow is back at the top and primed to deliver a rude awakening to anyone who thinks she may have lost a step on the scenic route to championship gold. Asuka never fucking lost a step. Well, what happened to Asuka is that you let blonde and big tits and nice ass get in the way of a real fucking wrestler and someone who honestly deserves more than she's been given. You rather have pushed divas instead of actual legit female performers in Asuka. First of all, you killed her undefeated streak, you fed her to Carmella, and then you didn't know what to fucking do with her, so you had coming out to Naomi's theme music, dancing like a fucking clown. Did you have Asuka? So now all of a sudden, Asuka, I'm assuming someone in the back stuck up for her, right? Or they stood up for her, and they said, listen, what are we doing here? We nurtured and cared and groomed this female for 2.5 years down in NXT, and now she comes to the main roster and she's just like everybody else. There's something amiss here. There's something wrong here. Whether that got into the brain of Vince McMahon and he finally made a good decision, I doubt it. But knowing Vince McMahon, he's only pushing Asuka because others want Asuka pushed, and he really doesn't give a shit about Asuka. All he's got on the mind is Charlotte. Asuka. Superstars to watch in 2019. I can only hope that she has a better 2019 than she had 2018. Well, would you look at this? Andrade and Zelina Vega. Andrade. This is what they say about Andrade. Took Andrade and Zelina. I fucking hate the fact that they took his name away. It took Cien Almas and Zelina Vega a while to hit their stride in NXT. No, it actually took Andrade Cien Almas a while to hit his stride in NXT because he was without Zelina Vega. They didn't know what to do with him. But when they paired him with Zelina Vega, then they took off. Not separated. It was instantaneously that their push just skyrocketed, both of them. But when they did, the duo became a force to be reckoned with. The pair has been on SmackDown Live for nearly a year now. A year, folks. A year. And now, we are just seeing him pushed. And right on cue, they seem to be on the cusp of something big. Might 2019 be the year of Tranquilo? Well, I brought this guy up after WrestleMania. I would have made 2018 the year of Tranquilo. You don't bring up a former NXT champion, a guy that could have a 5-star match with anybody on the fucking roster, and waste him away in mixed tag team matches with Lana and Rusev, and sitting in the back not getting any TV time at all. Unfucking believable. Look, then they go on to name the class of 2019 NXT call-ups. Heavy Machinery, Lars Sullivan, Nikki Cross, Lacey Evans, and EC3. So they go on and show pictures of all these individuals, and then they say the following. A freak, a lady, 2 big bulls, the top 1%, a truly twisted sister, in a year poised to shake things up in a major way. These 6 veterans of the black and gold brand might just leave the biggest shockwaves of all. Really? Whoever writes this garbage is completely fucking ridiculous. Did the last class of call-ups make shockwaves at all? No! The only shockwaves they were making were standing in line waiting for fucking Titus's fucking casserole. You fucking kidding me? Lars Sullivan, mentioned here, clearly is still a part of WWE. There was rumors of Lars Sullivan being terminated in WWE. That was clearly debunked here. Lacey Evans, she might get over because she's blonde. She's tall and she's blonde, so she might get over. Heavy Machinery doesn't look too good right now. Not with Otis being a fucking clown on Monday and Tuesday night. EC3, I'm hearing rumors that he's slated for a major WrestleMania match with Dean Ambrose. I don't know what the fuck that means or how that's going to come about. But I guess the introduction to EC3 hasn't been all that great. He slides into frame, trying to do an interview and says nothing on Monday Night Raw as he's waiting in line on Vince McMahon's office, or at Vince McMahon's office for a shot of Brock Lesnar, and then he's posing in the mirror as Samoa Joe's walking by on Smackdown Live. Yeah, great way to introduce EC3 on the main roster. Nikki Cross, she's the only one that actually had in-ring competition out of all of these call-ups. And she didn't get the pin. Would it have been too much for Nikki Cross to get the pin on Liv Morgan? And then we got Lars Sullivan, right? Lars Sullivan. He's probably the one that is looking to break out most, or has the most upside out of all these candidates here, just because of what he looks like, his size, and his mic skill. So we'll see what happens, man, but I don't have any confidence in WWE booking these individuals correctly and properly. They haven't. Look at what they did with Almas. Look at how they failed Almas all year. You expect them to push these individuals? Especially Heavy Machinery. What tag team division is there? None. Absolutely none. NXT Class of 2019. Then they go on to mention the Boss and Hug connection. Now, the only reason why they're mentioning Bayley and Sasha Banks is that more than likely they will be the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. And that's what they mention here. They're looking to make history with the women's tag team titles on the horizon. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to win the tag team titles because there's no better candidate for those titles right now as an inaugural winner. So if they don't do it, then really something's fucked up in this company. They mentioned Ricochet. This is an easy one. Ricochet could be planted on Raw and SmackDown and be the number one guy on that brand. Any brand. That's how good he is. NXT's one and only lived up to the hype, and then some in 2018, stunning the NXT universe with his aerial attacks and wrestling the North American Championship from Adam Cole and winning it. As 2019 begins, look for Ricochet to climb even higher as he begins the next phase of his extraordinary career. This is a given. That is absolute no question. Mark my words, Ricochet is going to be one of the biggest faces in the entire WWE. You could put him on SmackDown or Raw, and he's the number one guy on either brand right now. Same thing with Adam Cole. They mentioned British Strong Style, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven. I don't know so much about Trent Seven, but Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, absolutely. Mustache Mountain had the best match at TakeOver UK. Pete Dunne went 34 minutes with Joe Coffey. So you know that they're in for a huge year. Pete Dunne's run as champion might come to an end because I just do not see him if they are indeed booking him against Walter at the next TakeOver show, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen maybe after WrestleMania, right before we hit the summer, maybe in May. I honestly think Pete Dunne's title reign is going to come to an end. But they say here, as NXT UK grinds to life, there are few superstars more imposing than its resident three-headed dragon, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, and United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne, a.k.a. British Strong Style. Look for this trio to act as a fearsome measuring stick to those who make the pilgrimage to the UK in search of a fight. They mention Mia Yim. They go on to mention Drew McIntyre. They go on to mention, and I think that is it. No, they mention Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And they go on to mention Keith Lee, surprisingly. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That's something that I hope comes to fruition. And I got news on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in this particular podcast this weekend, and that was it. So most of them I do agree with. Most of them I hope have a great 2019, and I could certainly see having a great 2019. But the ones that stand out the most, ladies and gentlemen, after we've done so much ranting and bitching and complaining that WWE is so desperate with their attempts to keep everybody happy and how all the trolls say that WWE is not afraid or they're not thinking about AEW. Meanwhile, they put out lists like this after The Revival have asked for their release. Now they're superstars to watch in 2019. After Andrade's been an inconsistent, irrelevant factor on SmackDown Live. Now all of a sudden he's someone to watch in 2019. Why is that? Just like I mentioned with Finn Balor, they're pushing him so that they keep him happy. They're trying to give him more than they are really wanting because they want to keep him happy so they don't go anywhere. People, WWE, everything that they do is being monitored under a microscope. Everything that they do is going to be compared to AEW. This list just reconfirms everything that we've been feeling. WWE is looking back and AEW is staring them dead in the fucking eye, man. Every move that they make is going to be monitored by AEW. And we are going to be here to monitor everybody's move to see what move. It's like a game of chess. WWE makes a move, AEW is going to make that next move, man. AEW makes a move, WWE is going to counter that move with something even more ridiculous. And then they'll go on, podcasts and there'll be reports and this and that. Oh, AEW is no threat or no factor to WWE. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. This is Off the Script, ladies and gentlemen. We got a ton of news today in this particular podcast. Do not go anywhere. Right after the intro, I'll be right back. So stick with me, man. Ton of news right here on episode 257, part number 2. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth.
I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese.
I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not.
WWE is great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Kenny Omega, Okada. Delete! What is it, man? Can I suck your dick? What is it, man?
Well, this is the #1 fucking podcast.
Right here on YouTube.com. This
is Off the Script. Well, this is pretty interesting news, ladies and gentlemen. I just had a piece of information float across my Twitter timeline just minutes ago, and we talked about how Dolph Ziggler is rumored to be done with the WWE. They offered him a new job contract as a producer because they don't have any real concrete plans left for Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler hasn't appeared on TV since his loss in a steel cage match against Drew McIntyre, and he actually changed his social media accounts to reflect his real life name, not Dolph Ziggler. Now, we went about talking about this on Off the Script. The belief is that his deal isn't up until January 31st, 2019. Now, everything with Ziggler's contract always has been nothing more than speculation. Nobody has any real information on Dolph Ziggler. But there appears to be some smoke to this rumor fire. And what Ziggler and his brother have done, or what they have done, is they've just opened up a Pro Wrestling Tees online shop selling merchandise. Now, clearly, if you're a WWE superstar, you can't be doing that. And it looks like Dolph Ziggler, realistically, this time around, and I told him, I wasn't speaking to him directly, but I spoke to you guys as if you were Dolph Ziggler yesterday on the podcast. This guy is someone who I think very highly of. I think he's a great in-ring talent. Probably one of the best that company has had in a very long time. He does not need them anymore. Dolph Ziggler does not need WWE anymore. He pretty much has laid the foundation for him to go anywhere and thrive at a level that rarely we see in the WWE. And I believe firmly that Dolph Ziggler, if he went to an AEW, that he would be a guy that they honestly give a real opportunity to let him shine, to let his work shine. And that's something that he was never given in WWE. Maybe here and there, sporadically, but never really given a true moment to shine on his own. Because of political reasons, he might not be liked backstage. It might not be, the right place or the right time for him, all this other bullshit. But he seems to have opened up a Pro Wrestling Tees online store, and all I know is that if you are a WWE employee or if you plan to be a WWE contracted employee, you can't be opening up Pro Wrestling Tees online stores. That should be shut down before you even blink. So maybe he is really done with the WWE, and to that I say, finally. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if AEW contacts him and brings him on in, or if he's even interested in AEW. I hope he is. I genuinely, truly hope that Dolph Ziggler is. So only time will tell, man. The end of January, this January 31st date is it's just very interesting. It's very intriguing. There's another guy named Omega who's got his contract up on January 31st as well, and we're all wondering where he's going to go. So the next couple of weeks are going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast, man. It's episode 257. This is part number 2 of Off the Script. Yesterday, we went over the truth about Finn Balor and Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Off the Script was over 2 hours of audio and video content with a conclusion where we talked about the number 2 in my list of top 5 greatest Royal Rumble endings of all time. So next week, we will do number 1, and it is no surprise what it is. I'm sure you guys, if you've been listening to me or if you've been with me, you know what it is. So we'll do that next weekend right here on Off the Script. But if you guys missed any of that stuff yesterday, link will be in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. Those annotations are going away, by the way, by the end of the month, so make good use of them, man. They're right there for you. Drop it down. The video will be right there for you, staring you right in the face. Follow me on social media, man. You guys know what to do. Social media is important to everybody. It's important to me. It's important to you. It's how we live our lives, sadly, and it's how we get our content out to you guys as content creators. JD from New York on Twitch, at JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys want to support the podcast through Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Dolph Ziggler is not the only one with a 1-hour tease recommendation. We are with Barbershop Window, which is a Pro Wrestling Tees sister site. All owned by 1-hour tees, man. That means you guys are going to get the best quality shirts in the game today. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys use the coupon code BSHOP10 for 10% off every single purchase. We have the best looking podcast shirts in the game today. I mean that sincerely. I mean that wholeheartedly. 18 different designs where you guys can go out there and show your support 18 different ways, man. That is barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Harry's.com/script. This is the official sponsor of the podcast. Off the Script and Harry's have been great friends for a better part of the year. You guys know them as the best shave you will ever have, bar none, man. I've been using Harry's for about a year. You guys know how much I love Harry's. They love it so much that you are going to get a free trial shave set on the house, and all you have to do is use our unique link, man. Harrys.com/script. What you're going to get is a handle, color of your choice, the blue, the orange, or the evergreen. You guys are going to get a razor blade. This is the smoothest blade that I've ever used in my entire life, and you're going to get one of those for free as well. A generous 2-ounce bottle of their shave gel, which soothes, hydrates, and it smells fantastic. And you're going to get a protective case for your blade as well. All this for free. You guys know my story. I found out about Harry's from my father and my brother. I've been using it for a better part of a year, and every time I use it, man, I feel fantastic. I've never cut my face, and I would never put my name to something that A, I don't use, and B, I don't feel that you guys can find value in. So that's why Harry's is with me on Off the Script, and I want you guys to go out and experience what I did, man. Harrys.com/script for your free trial shave set. It's a $15 trial, $15 value for free, and all you guys have to do is pay the shipping and handling. Harrys.com/script. Audible has also been with me for over 2 years, man. Audible is giving you guys 30 days free of their service, and that includes one free audiobook of your choice. audibletrial.com/offthescript. You guys have 200,000 different choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. You guys are going to go through the sign-up process, and you guys are going to download the app on your iPhone or Android devices. It's good to go, and you guys can be browsing Audible for 30 days free and get a free audiobook just for signing up. Now, here's the best part, man. If you guys don't like the service for any reason whatsoever, you can cancel on day 1. You can cancel on day 29. You guys can cancel any day within that 30 days and still get to keep your audiobook for free. Literally, you're listening to the podcast and you're getting something just for listening to me right here on Off the Script, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Go and support the podcast today through Audible, man. Thank you guys so very much for supporting my sponsors here on the podcast. I want to start off, guys, with some minor news coming out of Monday Night Raw, news that was lingering over from earlier in the week that I just want to kind of get out there because I think you guys might have an interest in hearing what it's about. We're going to start off with this one, man. We all talked about Finn Balor. Finn Balor was a major talking point on Off the Script on Friday, but it was recently reported that Finn Balor has been the subject of a big push on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, we see that coming into play, going into the Royal Rumble and his match against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. But he was at the UK Performance Center during the grand opening of their new Performance Center out there in the UK. He obviously showed face on NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. He went one-on-one with Jordan Devlin. And he was actually interviewed by Inside the Ropes and discussed a number of topics. Now, he was asked who he would like to face on the grandest stage of them all, quote-unquote. I fucking hate that. WrestleMania. Balor took the name of The Undertaker, saying that the kid Finn Balor wants to face The Undertaker. The kid inside Finn Balor wants to face The Undertaker. Continuing on the topic, the former Universal Champion mentioned how the time is running out with the dead man and pointed out that nobody knows when his last match is going to be. Though, later in the interview, he also named Brock Lesnar, who currently holds the Universal Championship, as a potential opponent, now a reality at the Royal Rumble. He said at the time when he was interviewed, he would take either one of those two. Now, apart from this, Balor also discussed his short reign as Universal Champion and explained that his focus has now shifted towards having a positive influence in people's lives rather than winning championships. For all we know, Balor may end up beating Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. I have no idea. But I've been calling for an Undertaker Balor/Demon King match at WrestleMania for the last couple of years, man. When you really think about the Undertaker and who he's wrestled at WrestleMania, and you think to the roster, who realistically is left for the Undertaker at WrestleMania, Finn Balor as the Demon is truly one of the only ones in my mind that could realistically make something interesting in the remaining years of the Undertaker's career. John Cena, I'm hearing, is a rumored opponent for The Undertaker this year. I have absolutely zero interest in The Undertaker versus John Cena again at WrestleMania. Why would anyone want to see that match again after what we've seen at WrestleMania this year? Or last year? Who cares? It's over. I want nothing to do with that again. It was good for what it was, and now it was over. Undertaker came back in 3 minutes and beat John Cena. John Cena put over The Undertaker. Good. Who cares? Nothing was made of it after that. Nothing was mentioned. So why are we going to go back and dip into the stale cookie jar when we can have something fresh right out of the oven? And the Demon King versus the Dead Man, I think, has a nice ring to it at WrestleMania. So if you really want an opponent for The Undertaker, I wouldn't mind Finn Balor as the Demon King going against the Dead Man. I think that has a great ring to it. The only other opponent that I could honestly see versus The Undertaker are two other guys. One, Drew McIntyre, and the other one would be Aleister Black in somewhat of a passing of the torch moment. Because honestly, you know, whether he likes to admit it or not, yes, there are very vague similarities between the Aleister Black character and the Undertaker character. I guess it's because it's very, it's very mythical, and it's got this aura about it. The way he comes in through the darkness. There are very vague similarities. I'm not saying that Aleister Black is going to end up being the next Undertaker, but I would think that would be a great match if you want to have the Undertaker go out on his last ride. Give his last match to Aleister Black. I think that would be great. Drew McIntyre, that's self-explanatory. I think that would be a nice passing of the torch moment as well. But the Demon King versus the Undertaker, I think I could get down with that, man. Let me know what you guys think about that. But Balor did have that one match in mind, and who knows? Who knows? We may end up seeing that this year at WrestleMania if Finn Balor does not beat Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Spoiler on Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens' name has been brought up this week. Barn Burners Fired Up podcast mentioned that Kevin Owens has a very exciting feud in place once he makes a return. I mentioned this on my Monday Night Raw review because of what happened before he went out with injury. It does make sense being that this individual actually, per storyline, put him on the shelf. Now, they mentioned exactly what we mentioned on the Monday Night Raw podcast. Bobby Lashley is a man who took Kevin Owens out of action in storyline, and Bobby Lashley ended up becoming the IC champion. Owens, who has been recently photographed looking a lot more trim, a lot more slim, very good looking. Expect Owens to feud with Bobby Lashley possibly as early as the day after the Royal Rumble, and Kevin Owens might be in the Royal Rumble as a surprise entrant. KO has been looking great, and he seems to have lost a lot of weight since the last time we seen him. He's got a new tattoo. When he makes his WWE return, he might be adding another IC title to his list of accomplishments. I think that would be great. Now, the only thing I don't like is Kevin Owens coming back as a babyface, because when I see Kevin Owens, I see a true heel in Kevin Owens. So we'll see how that plays out. But anybody but Lashley with the IC title, I think Kevin Owens is perfect for that role. And I honestly think Monday Night Raw needs all the help it could get. So with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens coming back potentially at the Royal Rumble, that is a nice 1-2 combination for Monday Night Raw. Speaking of Sami Zayn makes big progress in a WWE return. Sami Zayn's been out of action, needing double shoulder surgery. This was a poor-timed injury, but you can never predict that kind of plan moving forward. Sami Zayn has been enjoying his time away from WWE, and he remarked how surprised he was about how little he missed working. He said this on Talk is Jericho. The Wrestling Observer newsletter know that Sami Zayn was recently at the Performance Center this past week training for his return. It might only be a matter of time before we see Zayn again, although his return might not come immediately compared to Kevin Owens. Owens is also going to be ready soon for a return from double knee surgery. Therefore, if WWE chooses to hold off until the day after Royal Rumble or the day after WrestleMania, then that could put them in a position to start when the company is experiencing a bit of a fresh start and a storyline reboot. However, you never know how early WWE will need either one of them. WWE needs either one of them or both now. So with the Royal Rumble coming up, we've seen stranger things happen in the Royal Rumble, man. People have been slated to be out from injury and then miraculously show up in the Royal Rumble ready to go. So it could be one of those instances, but if it's me, I would normally keep them out until after WrestleMania, because even if they do come back for WrestleMania, I don't know what they have planned for WrestleMania. But seeing the state of Monday Night Raw right now, they need all the help that they could get. And if Sami Zayn is ready to go and they're keeping it hush-hush, if Kevin Owens is ready to go and they're keeping that hush-hush, I'd say bring him back now and put him on Monday Night Raw. They could use all the help they could get for Monday nights. Fandango, he's also getting closer to a WWE return. This news comes from PW Insider that Fandango is at the WWE Performance Center as of this week as well. He is working towards getting his medical clearance so he can return to the ring. And he is 37 years old. He's been a member of Breezango for a few years now with Tyler Breeze. Their Fashion File segments were still widely praised, and fans would love to see them make a return as well. So we will have to wait and see what happens with Fandango. I don't have any faith in WWE pushing Breezango in a prominent role in the tag team division. They certainly need to, because there's no tag teams on Monday Night Raw. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they fall in line with that new era. I want tag team wrestling in a prominent role in 2019. There's no better way than to put Tyler Breeze and Fandango, who is incredibly underrated, in a prominent role as a tag team that's vying for contention for the titles. Who else do you have on Monday Night Raw? You might as well run with it and see what they can do. There's no harm in that. Seriously. If we can see the Lucha House Party every fucking week, then we can see Breezango. Seriously. Come on, let's get some tag team wrestling on Monday and Tuesday nights and get it in a prominent role, man. I think we all deserve it, and they have a lot of talented guys who would love a shot at the tag team championships. Baron Corbin. Why? And I wondered this on Monday night as well. I even asked it in my review. Why is he still wearing his Raw GM wrestling attire? Now, this comes from, I believe, the Wrestling Observer. Meltzer went back and forth with Lance Storm on social media. Corbin lost his GM position at TLC, but he hasn't gone away at all, and he's still in his GM outfit, his GM ring attire. In fact, Corbin is still one of the top heels, unfortunately, on Monday Night Raw. Lance Storm mentioned on social media, and he wanted to know, why is Baron Corbin keeping his old ring gear and not going back to the leather? Dave Meltzer replied with this reasoning: his body isn't pretty enough, so they disguise it. Lance Storm had an idea that WWE could dress Corbin in business casual. That doesn't seem to be the point. WWE reportedly wants to keep Baron Corbin covered, so that's your alleged reason as to why Baron Corbin has hung on to his GM attire. I don't think we're ever going to see Baron Corbin in the NXT outfits or attire that he used to wear. So, it really isn't one of those things that's going to bother me in the long run. It's just very odd for the reasons cited here. He was the Raw GM. You got to dress the part. You got to dress the role. You got to come to work looking good. Now he's not the Raw GM anymore, but he's still wrestling as if he just walked out of Big and Tall or Men's Warehouse. You know, it looks a little ridiculous. It really does. So that's the reason why, and Meltzer probably is spot on with that reason. His body isn't pretty enough, so they just disguise it. There you go. Something that people have been going back and forth on, and I have my own assumptions to this. Why WWE booked Alexa Bliss in this dressing room angle on Monday Night Raw that caused a stir. Some people thought it was controversial. Give me a break. It's not controversial whatsoever. Now, Dave Meltzer mentioned this on the Observer Live. WWE's reasoning for this angle seems that WWE is trying to return somewhat to their Attitude Era roots a little bit, but with a 2019 spin, so it's not too off-putting. He says, and I quote, "So the idea is that they want to bring back this idea of God only knows what. It's like old-time stuff. It's like, whatever. That stuff's on regular TV shows all the time now, too. It was an attempt to do something that was very awkward in execution, but it was an attempt to make things sexy at the same time. That's all it was," end quote. Now, Meltzer noted that he wasn't offended by the segment. I don't think anybody should have been offended by the segment. It was just kind of eye-rolling. I think the best thing about the segment was Corey Graves and Michael Cole's reaction when they cut back to the commentary table. That was probably the most entertaining aspect of it all. I wasn't offended. Neither should you. Calm your fucking shit. But Brian Alvarez still said that the segment was dumb. It really was dumb. It really made no sense. Now, they equated it to Naomi and Mandy Rose's current sexting angle as well. Now, the video is, at last I checked, it was about 3, maybe 4 million views on Monday following Raw, or Tuesday early morning, a span of 12 hours since Raw aired on the USA Network. It was over 1 million views in a span of 12 hours. This was a very big accomplishment for a YouTube video, and the numbers only rose after that. It looks like the new era is going to include a bit of a risque approach, and they're going to try and push that TV PG envelope as much as they can. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why they did it? And I had a few people tell me, and I absolutely agree with them, this is 100%, in my honest opinion, why they did it. WWE would cite that, oh, we don't really watch any other promotion. They have eyes everywhere on social media, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. Don't get me started. They are all over the place. They have eyes everywhere on every other promotion, on what other people are doing, on what's trending, on what's hot, what's happening on this show, what's happening on that show. Cut the shit. Scarlett Bordeaux on Impact Wrestling did a striptease with Scott Steiner in the ring. After, I think, a day or two, that was at almost 800,000 views on Impact's YouTube channel. Now, Impact really doesn't get any views like that from anything else on their YouTube channel, so WWE probably seen this, and this was probably a clear-cut, I guess, not a copy, but it was a similar idea that they had. Well, Scarlett Bordeaux, who is much hotter than Alexa Bliss, in my honest opinion, she did that striptease on Monday Night Raw, or on Impact Wrestling, and then Alexa Bliss, they tried to counter with that, the best way that they could to fit the TVPG initiative with Alexa Bliss covering up. Because who doesn't envision Alexa Bliss naked, right? So that's exactly why they did it. That worked for them, so WWE figured, hey, we could do the same thing too. We'll just put Alexa Bliss in that role anyway. People think that way about her anyway. They think that way more about her than her wrestling skills, so why the fuck not? It's a good test. Let's do it. That's exactly why they did it. Made no fucking sense as to why that was on my TV, but I can guarantee you that WWE picked up on what Impact Wrestling was doing with Scarlett Bordeaux, and they tried to do it on Monday Night Raw with Alexa Bliss. Let me know what you guys think about that. I honestly think that WWE really tried their best to counter what they did on Impact Wrestling. Toni Storm reactivates her social media accounts. Now, she won the Mae Young Classic. She won the UK Women's Championship at TakeOver, Blackpool. And she was recently a victim of an online leak where personal photos were leaked and revealed to the public. Now, she deactivated all social media, and then after she won the UK title, or even before she won the UK title, you've seen how happy she was to be back in the graces of the fans, how much people loved her and how much people missed her, and she had all this overwhelming support. Before she even, came to the ring, you've seen this emotion on her face, and when she was waiting for Rhea Ripley to be introduced, you've seen that she was about to cry. She was very emotional, or about to get very emotional. When she won the title at TakeOver, you've seen how emotional she was. She was sitting with the fans in the crowd, and everybody was just going crazy, man. She ate that up, and she was living in the moment, and she loved every moment of that. And you've seen that all over her face. This was an incredibly disturbing incident that resulted in her blocking people on social media who were fucking nauseating behavior, man. Tweeting the fucking links and poking fun at her. She eventually shut everything down on her social media account. She recently returned to Twitter as of this week, a day after she won the UK Women's Championship, and returned to Instagram as well. So she's got her social media on Twitter and Instagram back up and running. She took an Instagram photo to share with everybody when she won the UK Championship, and another photo with Triple H. She captioned the post with one word that serves to define her future from here, and she put, simply, reborn. Good for Toni Storm, man. She is on her way to being one of the most successful women in all of WWE in 2019, and I look very much forward to watching her succeed and grow in WWE, man. And I got a little nervous. I saw Toni Storm on social media. I hope I wasn't the one, or one of the ones that were blocked. I didn't mention anything about it, so I am in good graces with Miss Storm. So that's all I am really caring about right now. The Bludgeon Brothers cleared for in-ring return to WWE on Smackdown Live. PW Insider reports that the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, have been cleared to make their in-ring returns. The former SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions will be back on the road with WWE as early as next week. And that was it. Rowan was spotted at the Performance Center in Orlando this week. He suffered a biceps tear back in August that forced him to be shelved. As for Harper, he was seen wearing a cast on his left hand for several months. However, he is now ready to get back into the ring and work. The Bludgeon Brothers were forced to drop the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles the Tuesday after SummerSlam last year. Due to Rowan's injury, he and Harper were defeated by the New Day to drop the titles before going on hiatus. So there you go, man. The Bludgeon Brothers, I honestly don't know how successful the Bludgeon Brothers are going to be coming back to SmackDown Live. It's not something that I would really be amped up to see. I honestly think what they need to do is scrap that and put them back with Bray Wyatt. I honestly think that's the best thing to do. I think we are about ready for a Wyatt family reunion. I mean, if the Shield could get back together for fucking 3 different occasions, why can't we get the Wyatt family? Do something right with these fucking guys, man. I've been telling you it forever. Wyatt, Harper, Rowan. You want to put Strowman in there and rebuild him up. I think that would be a great way to fucking have a dominating force. Fuck, if you don't want to do Braun Strowman, get Bo Dallas. Get him away from the fucking B team, man. Get him away from Curtis Axel. Get him in with Bray Wyatt. That would be a solid tag team. It's not that difficult to dress up Bo Dallas to look like Bray. They already look pretty similar in face, in hair. You know? I think this is a great move. I don't know why the B team is even a thing still. Curtis Axel, you know, do something with him, man. He's got so much talent that I just don't understand how someone like that who's got such a pedigree is wasted away in this company. Bo Dallas does not need to be in the fucking B team. That's an embarrassment. That whole team is a fucking embarrassment. Everything that they did with them in 2018 was a fucking joke. Let's start booking guys to their strengths. How are we going to maximize and utilize talent? That's the best way to do it. The Bludgeon Brothers coming back is going to be nothing but a fucking failure. Nothing but a failure. There's no other teams on SmackDown Live. No other teams on SmackDown Live will succeed outside of the Bar, the Usos, and the New Day. That is it. I'm sorry. So, if they're a thing still and coming back to SmackDown Live, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be successful. It's going to be one of those things where, okay, they're back. Look, it's cool to see them back. And then 1 week after, it's like, oh shit, I'm bored of these guys. They got no identity. They got no charisma. They're very boring. Let's do something and mix it up. Get them out of this fucking Bludgeon Brothers shit. Get them back in the Wyatt family. I think that's the best for all involved. And it gets Bray Wyatt back on television in a meaningful way. Shane Strickland. You guys know Shane Strickland, former MLW champion. He announced on Tuesday that he is officially a free agent. WWE, New Japan, AEW, Ring of Honor, MLW, all signing talent left and right. Don't expect Swerve Shane Strickland to remain on the sidelines on the free agent list for far too long. A report from Wrestling Observer Newsletter in August suggested that WWE had interest in Strickland. Shane Strickland, says Meltzer, is another name WWE is looking at and will be coming in for a future look. At the time, however, Strickland was under contract to Major League Wrestling. He had been with the promotion and had been their world champion from April to July of last year. It was then announced that in November that Strickland would be finishing up with MLW at their Miami tapings in December. Strickland also lost the Defy Championship last month. And Strickland's career thus far, he got his first break in CZW in 2012. He was in Lucha Underground. They cast him as Killshot, which he was unmasked at the end of Season 4. He was involved in a heavily praised storyline along with AR Fox on the show, in which they completely destroyed one another. Beginning in 2018, Strickland competed with Evolve, AAA, PCW, Major League Wrestling. He also became the first man since Steve Corino in 2004 to hold the MLW World Championship when he defeated Matt Riddle in the finals of a tournament in Orlando on April 12th, 2018. I'm hearing that he is NXT bound, and I think that would be a major pickup for NXT, and I think he would have a tremendous time in NXT, man. Shane Strickland is very impressive. He's been in House of Glory a couple of times. He's impressed both times out, and I'm looking forward to seeing if WWE picks him up, and I think NXT is a perfect home for the Swerve, Shane Strickland. Moving on here, man, with the rest of the news that I have, those were all the minor stories coming out of Monday Night Raw. Now, the other big thing from Monday Night Raw was the Women's Tag Team Championships. They were unveiled on a Moment of Bliss with Alexa Bliss, and I didn't really like it. Now, I let it go on Monday because the WWE got the titles right, and I was laughing hysterically at Otis Dojovic and what he did as far as an introduction goes. Now, the more I thought about it, I went back and watched it, and I realized this is shit. The introduction of Otis was garbage. The introduction of the women's tag team titles were garbage. And I'm wondering how this is going to be. Now, they did kind of insinuate that the titles are going to be spread across both Raw and SmackDown, which means it's going to be a dual-branded title. It's going to be on Raw and it's going to be on SmackDown. Alexa Bliss made this huge announcement during a Moment of Bliss, and that the titles were unveiled and that they will be defended inside the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And everybody on the internet was rejoicing. Calm your fucking dick. Okay? Calm your shit. It's nothing to get excited about yet. Okay? Let's dive into this a little bit. Now, the Barn Burners No Holds Barred podcast mentioned that WWE already has some big plans in mind for the new titles at WrestleMania. You know, Sasha Banks and Bayley are most likely winning the tag team titles. I hear at WrestleMania they'll defend the tag team titles against Trish and Lita. So Trish Stratus and Lita versus Bayley and Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. The Boston Hug Connection have been mentioning that the tag team titles are coming and that they want them. And the Boston Hug Connection have been, for a long time, just completely out of the mix on WWE Raw. Seems that the WWE Women's Tag Team titles are destined to be around their waists sooner rather than later, and a WrestleMania match against Trish and Lita could also fulfill all of those teases that WWE's been laying down about a match between all four of them. Now, let's dive into this. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want to dive into this and tell you that everything that WWE has done with the Women's Tag Team Championships have made them really irrelevant. They made them seem very unimportant. A, you announced them on a moment of... First of all, you announced them with Vince McMahon, disguised as Santa Claus. B, you announced them on a moment of bliss in which we finally seen the titles unveiled. You could have had a moment with a Hall of Famer. You could have had someone who was in the ring talking about how important this is or how important this could be for the women's division. Maybe briefly go over the history of the Tag Team Championships and what they meant to the history of WWE back in the 80s. As far as that goes, they fucked that up. And then they announced that the titles are going to be inside the Elimination Chamber. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a tag team men's Elimination Chamber match? And how well did that go over? I remember that being a clusterfuck of a match. 6 tag teams, right? All these bodies in the ring. It's a fucking circus. Why are we going about this at the Elimination Chamber? Now, I don't understand why WWE didn't take these titles and make it as epic as possible. Why put everybody in the same match, rush to get a winner, and then crown a new tag team champion? I don't understand it. Instead of letting things play out on the road to WrestleMania, giving the people a reason to watch the fucking show on Monday and Tuesday night, have a match on Monday, have a match on Tuesday, flip back and forth between Raw and SmackDown, have qualifying matches, have tournament matches, whatever. Set up the tournament, set up the matches for Raw, set up the first round on Raw, and have them go throughout WrestleMania season, culminating in the finals taking place at WrestleMania. How could you build awareness and importance and prestige if you're going to throw everybody into a fucking elimination chamber and then poof, crown new champions? Let the shit fucking tell a story over television, over weeks of television. I would much rather see a Sasha and Bayley struggle to get the tag team championships, having to go through, a Tamina and Nia, or having to go through a Bella Twins, or having to go through a Trish and Lita in the finals. Oh my God, we beat these teams, and now we're looking in the finals at Trish and Lita. Oh my goodness, what a colossal match this is going to be. Instead of having them crown champions and then all of a sudden just booking the match out of nowhere for WrestleMania. Yeah, let there be a road to get there. I don't understand this rush mentality. Now, let's look at the teams that WWE could eventually put in this Elimination Chamber match. We got Sasha and Bayley. We have the Riot Squad. Any members of the Riot Squad, I guess it could be either Ruby or Liv Morgan. It could be Ruby and Sarah Logan. It could be Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. But I'm sure Ruby Riot's going to be a part of the team. Now, we got Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka, right? That's 3 teams. We got Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. We got the Iconics. We got Naomi and Lana. We have the Bella Twins. And we have Trish and Lita. There's 8 teams right there. You mean to tell me you couldn't do a tournament? You couldn't set up a tournament that took place over the 2 months between Chamber and Mania to come up with a finals for WrestleMania to give it that much more of an important feel? Now, you'd rather just throw everything into one match and then rush, and then, have it be very anticlimactic. I don't understand this company. I really don't understand this company. It makes no sense to me. I don't like this decision whatsoever. If you ask me, the women's tag team titles are off to a shit start. They're off to a terrible start. Nothing is important in this company. Nothing. They do something cool, and then they ruin it almost just as quick. Now, I know there's a lot of tournaments on TV, but Jesus fucking Christ, this is one of those things that needs a tournament. Possible entrance. Those are your possible entrants right there. For the Elimination Chamber match itself, Jax, Tamina. You got Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, the Iconics, the Riot Squad. You got Banks and Bayley. Who else is there? Naomi and Lana. You got Lacey Evans and Nikki Cross. I don't think that's going to be a duo. That is a complete polar opposite one another. You know? I don't know. I don't know who WWE is going to put in there, but all I know, Sasha and Bayley are going to win the tag team championships. And then they'll defend against Trish and Lita for whatever reason. At least they had a reason to fight Trish and Lita, because it would be the finals of the tournament. You get Trish and Lita on Monday Night Raw. You get a nice little fucking story being told. Boom. How would you feel watching all that progress and you get to Trish and Lita versus Sasha Banks and Bayley? It's much more better than watching them all fight over a fucking big clusterfuck. I don't know, man. That's the way I would have did it. Let me know what you guys have in mind for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Dean Ambrose reportedly has a WrestleMania match scheduled against EC3. I don't know if this is legitimate news, but Barn Burners No Holds Barred podcast has mentioned that Dean Ambrose has a very interesting WrestleMania match lined up against a man who is new to the main roster and made his debut this week on Monday Night Raw. I'm hearing EC3 will go up against Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. So that's what I hear about this. Now, I don't know why these two would be feuding. And good for EC3, I guess, that he's going to appear on WrestleMania if this is the speculation going around. But, man, have WWE fucked up Dean Ambrose. Like, his imminent heel turn, his heel turn in general was fucking fantastic. And then after that night, completely fucking ruined it, man. Right down the toilet. He right now is falling faster than anything. He is absolutely irrelevant right now as a character on Monday Night Raw. Zero interest from everybody watching this show. Now, I don't know what they're doing with Dean Ambrose, but I just don't give a fuck. He was a babyface, nobody gave a shit about him. He was a heel, and now nobody gives a shit about him after a great fucking heel turn. Nobody gives a shit about him. Now, the rumor is that he's going up against EC3. I'm looking forward to see how this comes about. I know EC3 is going to be in the Royal Rumble. I'm predicting EC3 comes out at number 3. Because that's WWE's cheesiness. That's how lame WWE is. But we'll see what happens, man. I'm not interested in that. That sounds like a fucking pre-show match if you ask me. EC3 versus Dean Ambrose? I'll pass, bro. I'll pass. Don't know what you guys think about that, but that's the rumor going around right now for Dean Ambrose and EC3. Man, moving on here. I got a couple more stories, and then we'll continue on Sunday with Off the Script on part 3. Speaking of the NXT superstars, man, WWE had all these NXT superstars have such lackluster debuts on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. There's a reason for that. Now, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, a lot of people felt like everybody had a lackluster debut. It was reported that Vince McMahon wanted to get the new superstars on camera. They were placed in the background to be seen, and they haven't decided yet, WWE, on how to use them. The idea is to keep the new superstars on television while WWE figures out a plan for them. The thinking is that the fans will forget about the weak debuts once WWE involves them in storyline. Now, therefore, it appears we might be seeing more VC3, Heavy Machinery, Lacey Evans, just hanging around backstage for the time being as we lead into the Royal Rumble. At least the WWE fans will know who these new superstars are. You know, thinking about it, it's kind of smart, yet kind of fucking lazy. Because what WWE is telling me right now is that, yeah, we'll feature them on TV, so come up with plans to feature them in these little skits so that WWE fans can anticipate their return instead of playing the same video package over and over and over again. I understand that. But what this is also telling me is that WWE doesn't have any plans for them at all, that they called them up with literally nothing as far as direction goes. Now, that is not good at all. Now, I don't know what WWE has planned for everybody, but, I mean, it's very fucking... It's just a terrible sign that you look at a guy like Otis. He debuted on Monday Night Raw, interfering in the Moment of Bliss segment. He was drinking a weird pancake, egg, and tuna concoction on SmackDown Live, and he was acting like a clown in front of Becky Lynch. EC3 was standing outside Vince McMahon's office trying to vie for a shot at Brock Lesnar, all while saying nothing. He just appeared into frame with Dasha Bot, or whatever the fuck her name is, Kayla Braxton maybe? I don't know. They all look the same to me. Entered into frame and did nothing but smile. Then he's on SmackDown Live and he's posing in front of a mirror as his old work employee, his old colleague from Impact Wrestling, Samoa Joe, walks by, and Joe's like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? That's the type of look he gave. So Lacey Evans is drinking an iced tea, watching the women's action on SmackDown Live. On Monday Night Raw, she's chatting it up with Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox. I mean, honey, you're on Monday Night Raw and you're automatically just mingling with the catering squad. That's not a good look. It's not a good look. You know, as far as Lars Sullivan goes, I got news on Lars Sullivan Sunday. Right now, he is just missing. He's like a poster child, missing. Where's my child? He went home. He flew home to Colorado. Nobody's heard a word from him. I'm hearing word that WWE terminated him. That was easily debunked in this podcast when they just mentioned superstars to watch in 2019. Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is on Monday Night Raw, teaming with Bayley and Natty against the Riot Squad. It would have been nice for Nikki Cross to get the pin over a Liv Morgan or a Sarah Logan. No, but they gave it to Bayley. They gave it to Bayley. I'm sorry, Nikki Cross is the debuting one here. Why don't we see Nikki Cross hit her big finishing move and get the pin over an established Riot Squad? So that irked the shit out of me too. And then she's on SmackDown Live acting like a fool on Rey Mysterio. Oh, Rey, come to play with me, Rey. Banging on a fence, eating a fence. This is what they do. That means to me that they have no plans for any of these individuals. So why am I to be excited? They automatically, with what they did, they made them seem like everybody else on the roster. There's nothing special about any one of them. The only one that feels special right now is Lars, because we haven't seen him. The one who has not been shown on television yet has the most promise and the most intrigue about him because he wasn't on TV. I don't know when he's going to show up. I don't know what his issue is. There's no news on him. I don't know if he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I don't know. I hope that he's okay, because he's the one beacon of fucking light out of this group of call-ups. And even then, he has his detractors. Nobody is really having high hopes for Lars Sullivan. Look at the way these guys debuted. Why would anybody have faith in WWE to push these guys in a prominent role? Everybody came off like a fucking joke. I don't know, man. At one point, I understand Vince McMahon and what he's trying to do. Get them on camera instead of these fucking video packages. People are getting bored of this shit. But if you really wanted these superstars to have an impact, this is not the way to go about it. Lackluster, to say the least. Yeah, my debut on Monday Night Raw was in a segment where I didn't say anything, but I smiled to the camera. Okay. Who the fuck is EC3? Nobody in that arena knew who EC3 was. We want to see him in the ring. They should be having debut matches on Monday Night Raw. Whether it's against job talent, squash talent, whatever. Enhancement talent. Get them in the ring. Let me see what they can do. I want to see how they act in front of an audience, and I want to see how the audience reacts back to them. These little skits, you know, they all came off really cheesy and lame. Lackluster is the word that they used in the report on The Observer. Lackluster. I don't understand it, man. I really don't get WWE's logic. Nobody feels special. And this is why everybody just kind of feels the same. There's no special feeling about anybody on this entire show. I don't know what to tell you. I don't really know what to tell you. Finally, guys, we're going to end with this one. The WWE could be planting seeds for the end of the brand split. Now, Mike Johnson posted something on PW Insider Elite Audio and said that WWE could be prepping fans for another big event coming up soon, and that's the end of the brand split as we know it. He says, and I quote, they announced the call-ups from NXT, and they announced that they would be appearing on both Raw and SmackDown so the fans can see what they're all about. Maybe I'm adding up 1 and 1 and getting 7, he says. But that plus the women's title is going back and forth between Raw and SmackDown, and a couple SmackDown Live events being canceled as of late means the walls that define the brand split could be crumbling down. So we'll see. End quote. Now, WWE is known for dropping small hints before making a big change, but that doesn't always happen. Anything is possible in this new era, but WWE SmackDown Live finding a new television home on Fox in October, a brand split really doesn't seem very likely. However, you never know what WWE could have in store. I've said this multiple times over the last couple of weeks, and you can go back to 2016, in the summer of 2016, where I said exactly what needed to be done. And here we are with the likelihood of it happening, and the thought of it could actually be in motion. The WWE Championship on SmackDown Live, the Universal Championship on Raw, okay? The Intercontinental Championship on Monday Night Raw, the U.S. title on SmackDown Live. Those are your two big titles, or your two big divisions, rather, 4 titles on separate brands. They are what's going to define the split of the brands, okay? Because the main roster mid-level talent and the main roster main event talent need to have a certain pecking order. You can't put everybody on one brand because not everybody's going to get the same opportunities. So you got to differentiate and deviate, divide the top talent, split them between Raw and SmackDown. That I understand. With Raw being 3 hours, you're going to start seeing the same. You've seen it all through 2018. So don't tell me I'm wrong. Going into 2019, you need to live up to this. New faces, new fresh matchups, new this, new that. You know? We don't want to see the same matchups over and over and over again. So you differentiate the brand split with those 4 titles separated on 2 brands. You got the Women's Championship on Raw and the Women's Championship on SmackDown. I am predicting a unification match at WrestleMania between Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. One title will be had on Raw and SmackDown. The division is not going to suffer from having one title. You cannot have one title on Raw, one title on SmackDown, and then a revolving door of tag team championships going back and forth. You might as well just put everybody in the same boat, the division spread across both Raw and SmackDown. And the biggest takeaway from that is Fox wants Ronda Rousey. And Ronda Rousey is on Raw. So instead of moving Ronda to Tuesday or Friday nights in October, WWE doesn't want to have Ronda not on Monday Night Raw. They don't want to just lose her on Monday nights completely. So logically, it makes sense. If Fox wants Ronda, we're just going to eliminate one title and make one unified women's championship to be decided at WrestleMania. Ronda, then with the brands merging the women's division, Ronda could be on Fridays, Ronda could be on Mondays. Everybody wins. Fox gets what they want. Vince keeps Ronda on Monday night. It makes fucking sense. Now, with the tag team championships, it's a lot easier to have title defenses and challengers and matches and number one contender matches if everything is just consolidated on the same brand. I don't want to watch SmackDown Live and then find a number one contender for champions who are on Monday Night Raw. Doesn't make any sense. Everything needs to be together, cohesively as one big happy family. That's what I predict is going to happen. A unification match for the women. It makes no sense to have separate divisions, separate titles, and then a tag team title that's floating between both brands. It makes no sense whatsoever. That is the best for everyone involved. You get one championship, and then whoever's in the tag team mix, they could be fighting over the tag team mix, and then you got a whole new bunch of talent that could be vying for the one title. Simple. Because if you have the tag team titles on one brand and you got 2 separate championships, there's not going to be enough, talent to give us fresh matches. It's just going to be rinse and repeat every single fucking time. That's the best way to go about it. And the same thing with the tag team men's division. You guys know how I feel about that. If they're not opening up to creating new teams, if they're not open to creating new teams and new opportunities for guys that they don't use, like I mentioned in my revival rant, then merging the divisions just like you did the women. If you could do it for the women, you could certainly do it for the men. There's no reason for them not to do it. I've been saying this for 2.5 fucking years. Raw and SmackDown do not need 2 separate tag team champions. Merge the fucking titles. Give the Revival the tag team titles on Monday Night Raw. Give the Usos the tag team titles on SmackDown Live and have a fucking unification match at WrestleMania to tear the house down. I don't know how else to put it to you guys. Then look at all the tag teams you got on the same fucking show. You got the Usos on Raw. You got the Revival on SmackDown Live. You got the New Day on Raw. You got the Bar on Monday Night Raw. You got, a bunch of new matchups, a bunch of new faces on Monday Night Raw. It fills the 3-hour time slot better. You got, segments that actually make sense, segments that are competitive. It's not going to be rinse and repeat every single fucking week. The tag team division could take on a whole new meaning. The Revival, the Usos, the Bar, the New Day, AOP, Breezango, the Ascension. You got the Club, Sanity, the Bludgeon Brothers, the Wyatt family, whatever. There's a lot of competition, the heavy machinery. Come on. You guys know I'm right on that. I mean, it's just so fucking simple. It is so simple. It's so stupid not to do it. That's what needs to be done. Planting seeds to end the brand split. The brand split ain't ending. The brand split is going to be altered in a way where it makes Raw better, it makes SmackDown better, and it makes Fox happy come October. I have spoken. That is the absolute best way to go about it. I say it every single fucking time this conversation comes up. That is, without question, the best way to go about it. And the best thing for my voice right now is to get the fuck out of here, man. I am exhausted. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the podcast today, man. I got a lot of news for Sunday. I skimped on this episode a little bit just to make sure you guys got the big stories tomorrow, man. Big stories. Why did WWE offer the Young Bucks a once-in-a-lifetime contract? AJ Styles still without a WWE contract offer. And he's slated for a huge WrestleMania match. What happened to Lars Sullivan? All the latest on Lars Sullivan, that his debut is now in jeopardy. His WrestleMania match, supposedly with John Cena, now completely off the table. How did WWE change Raw due to Lars Sullivan's absence? What does that mean? All that, plus so much more, right here on Off the Script for Part 3 on Sunday. Thank you guys so very much for all that you do. Hit that thumbs up down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Same thing on Instagram and Twitter. JD from New York on Twitch. Subscribe, hit that bell. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Harrys.com/script for your free trial shave set. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. And barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Use code BSHOP10 for 10% off. Thank you guys so very much, man. I'm getting out of here, and I'll see you guys right back here on Sunday for part 3 of Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.